downtown where you can get a date for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, All About the Goddess. The Goddess Next Door bears all in the art studio to catch a campus stalker in this action-packed Isis series mystery. Get your copy of Isis, All About the Goddess in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Rapper Glorilla says things don't sit right with her when she sees a man at peace. Now, Glorilla made this statement on social media regarding how she feels about men who are at peace, and this statement basically shows that the world that Glorilla will be single for the rest of her life. Now, in my book, The Woman Crisis, I talk all about women like Glorilla who have been indoctrinated into feminism, and these feminist indoctrinated women oftentimes don't sit right when a man has peace due to the dysfunctional way they have been raised. Now, when it comes to women like Glorilla, they have been raised in a culture of feminism, primarily in single mother households, and in those single mother households, these women, when they're growing up as girls, see a model of misery where they see their mothers getting upset in the presence of men, and they believe that things don't sit right with them when they see a man at peace, because they think when a man is at peace that there needs to be trouble, and that's basically because the model they've seen from their mothers is going out here and starting that kind of trouble. And that's what happens with women like Glorilla, who don't say that things sit right with them when they see a man at peace, is that they learn how to be extremely insecure, and they're extremely insecure because they basically only feel secure when they can become the center of attention. Now, when it comes to women like Glorilla, they basically want to be the center of the attention all the time for a man, and because they want to be the center of attention for a man, what they feel is extremely insecure when that man is working on his own personal hobbies and interests, or just sitting here chilling out. Whenever they see that man sitting in front of a football game or a basketball game, just chilling out and having some snacks, or he's working on his car in the garage, or he's working on one of his other hobbies, what happens is these women's insecurities flare up because they can't be the center of attention. And because they can't be the center of attention, what they do to make themselves the center of attention is go out here and go storm into wherever that man is and go out here and start something with that man. And usually what they start is an argument with that man, and the argument really isn't about the subject that they want to start with the man with. No, what they want to do when they start that argument is get the focus of the center of attention on them and have you going in a back and forth unless you check them. Now, this basically is a form of a crap test, and this crap test is to see that she can, again, verify that she can still be the center of attention, and your life basically doesn't matter to her. No, when it comes to the man and his peace, it doesn't matter, because what she thrives on is the chaos she can create in a man's life. And what that does is it creates a lot of stress on a man who has a relationship with this kind of woman, because all she does is go out here and create a lot of drama for a man, create a lot of drama that basically makes a man's life miserable. And that's basically when a man hears about a woman making a statement like this is where they go out and look to avoid dealing with that woman. They look to avoid dealing with that woman because they've already got enough stress in their life from just being a man out here in this world. Now, what many of these feminist indoctrinated women like Glorilla don't understand about men because they didn't have a father in their life, and they were never taught about the roles of men and women as related to God's order, is that men deal with a lot of stress based on the foundations of the fall of man as related to the sin that Adam and Eve made, because men have to go out in this world and they have to work very hard. And as they have to work very hard, they deal with a lot of stress from a world filled with adversaries and enemies all around them. And as men look to compete in that world filled with adversaries and enemies around them, that look to go out here and make life hard for a man, the one thing a man wants to do is be able to come home and be able to relax, come home and be able to relieve a lot of his stress. That's what a man wants at home, is some peace, because he's constantly at war in that world. He's constantly at war in that world in order to survive. So that man doesn't want to go back home to stress. And that's the one thing that women like Glorilla don't understand, because they've been indoctrinated into feminism. And many of the feminists, they want to be in the place that a man is in God's order. They want to be in that head place. And that's the thing that doesn't sit right with them when they see a man at peace, is that he's in a place in God's order, and what they want to do is create chaos so that they can be in that head place, and in that head place as the center of attention in that relationship. And that's the thing that makes her another adversary that a man has to deal with. And the last thing a man wants to deal with in a home that he worked to build is another adversary coming at him. The last thing a man who was going out here and worked to on one of these jobs to build himself a home, make himself some money, and paying for things, he's paying bills. The last thing he want to do is come home to another enemy and another adversary. And that's where the feminist indoctrinated women get it all messed up, because they want to compete with the man. And the last thing a man wants to deal with is another competitor causing him grief. I mean, the last thing he wants to do is come home to a place where he cannot rest and relax. And that's where women like Glorilla wind up messing everything up as related to themselves, because as they look to compete in the social marketplace, they don't see how these are liabilities to them, and it just turns off men. I mean, women like Glorilla don't see how they're turning off men. I mean, earlier in a video she made years ago, she talked about how she doesn't take care of her hygiene, and that already is a red mark as related to Glorilla and relationships with men. And now she's saying that she's so insecure that things don't set right with her when she sees a man at peace. And each of these statements she's thinking are gonna get her attention, but what they're doing is sending a message to men that she is someone they should not consider for a relationship, and it makes her appear to be extremely unattractive as related to her values and her character. As related to Glorilla's values and character, everything that she makes a statement on turns people off, and this statement right here is the nail in the coffin for most men in the social marketplace. This statement right here takes Glorilla from being in the social marketplace as a celebrity to winding up in a place called Bust Downtown, because it basically drops her social marketplace value as low as Tia Mowry's, which is already 90% off, because men know that they cannot trust Tia Mowry. But now that men know that Glorilla is insecure and is one of these drama queens who once is a narcissist looking to make herself the center of attention, most men now know to avoid Glorilla, and know to avoid Glorilla because she's basically shown us that she is someone who will not give a man one of the most important intangibles a man wants in his home, which is his personal peace and his ability to relax. If a man can't have his peace, that will make it where most men will quickly reject a woman and will boot her to the curb to have a residence in Bust Downtown in apartment 4D in the same complex as other bust downs like Vanessa Williams, like Halle Berry, like Tia Mowry, and Lisa Ray McCoy. This is where Glorilla is headed, sadly, and headed sadly there, gonna be having her apartment smelling like ravioli because she don't know how to wash her backside, and will be smelling like ravioli, sitting there miserable in the company of those other ladies, sitting miserable in the company of those ladies, because if a man can't have his peace, he will not allow you into his life. The one thing a man wants is the ability to be able to have his home be a peaceful place. And if you can't bring him peace, he has no reason to bring you into his home, either to be his girlfriend or be his wife. At the most, what Glorilla is sending a message to guys is that she's basically somebody they just go out here and have a little fun with and then bounce and be on their way. And she's the kind of woman who will be sitting there scratching her head, wondering why she can't get a man, when the reason why she can't get a man is staring her in the mirror based on her just extremely dysfunctional behavior. Because when you go out here and you can't give a man peace, you give him nothing but problems, and a man has more problems than he needs to deal with, and the last thing he needs to deal with is a woman who brings him more problems. Because men, while we like to solve problems, don't want problems in our home, and if a woman is a problem, the first thing we're going to do is show her the door if we're involved with her. And if we are out here and we hear that a woman is a problem, the solution that we have for dealing with that kind of woman is to leave her all by herself, to leave her to be miserable in the company of the over 70% of black women who are single, the 70% of black women who, like Glorilla, basically follow this paradigm of failure to the letter that leads to them winding up being single for the rest of their life. Single for the rest of their life, because the last thing a man wants is more drama, more headaches, more strife when he comes home. And Glorilla has basically shown us all that she's on the road to, again, bust downtown, where she will be miserable in the company of all those other washed up women, and maybe they'll help her find a way to clean the skid mark out of her jockey thong, and sadly learn how to work in a dysfunction all by herself. That's what's going to happen to Glorilla, who in her young age will regret making these statements when she gets older, because when you sit there and make these kind of statements, you don't see how they impact you later on. And that's what Glorilla doesn't really see as related to this statement saying, oh, things don't sit right with her when she sees a man at peace. Well, she's basically gone out here and said that things will basically sit right with her all alone in that apartment in her older age, where she will regret ever making these statements, because those statements basically made it where she's turned herself into somebody who will be a pariah in the social marketplace. Now, if you want to avoid being like Glorilla, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and learn to correct the behaviors that would lead to you winding up in the paradigm of failure that will keep you single for the rest of your life. And if you want to learn how to identify the behaviors that lead to women like Glorilla becoming single for the rest of their lives and why they will remain single for the rest of their lives, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Woman Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos taking celebrities like Glorilla to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.